whatever arises there. And we're going to practice that for a bit. And then we're going to practice actually turning towards maybe slight discomfort, maybe a momentary distress in the body, maybe a distressing thought or emotion, and seeing if we can't create that crucible, maybe a cradle, maybe loving arms, like the loving arms of a parent for a beloved child. This is the kind of attitude of heart and mind that we are going to invite for this practice this evening. So with that, I think we're probably really close to getting started. So why don't we begin? I want to start by first just, of course, welcoming you all. So good to see you. Also, I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me okay, and make sure that the sound is resonant enough. If I don't see anybody or get a chat about that now, I'll assume it's okay. I've got an earpiece in, so I'm going to be trying to work with this recording. We'll just see how it goes. That's the best, showing up for what we can, right? Doing the best we can. And so to begin this practice, and I'm going to be paying a little bit of attention for just maybe a few minutes to people entering in. I want you to choose sitting or lying. They can both be done equally. We have to be watchful as the reminder, if we're lying, not to go into slovenliness, not to go into slothfulness, but to see if we can't stay engaged, energized, awakened, even when we are softening the body, creating space in the mind, cultivating a most loving heart for ourselves. So be watchful of the habit. What can we do? Well, we know you can always choose to open your eyes gently. You can always choose to sit up slightly. You can always choose to take extra inviting in breaths to invigorate the mind body so that we can be a little more awakened, present to whatever it is, particularly when we're working with a slightly difficult experience, especially in the evening. We have to be, I think, particularly merciful, particularly gracious, particularly tender with ourselves, because we're already a little bit worn out in the day. So we're not going to tackle the most difficult situation. We're not going to go for the situation you've not been able to work with in your waking time. This is not most kind, most beneficial to you. This is a practice. We're practicing the softening when the body is already a little bit weary and maybe already a bit softened from the day. Okay, so let's just be kind in that regard. Let's start that way. I want us to be watchful of that. I'm going to read this for us and then we'll begin to practice. While I'm reading, you can feel free to be adjusting yourself for the appropriate posture for this practice. All feelings are only looking for a loving home, for mercy and protection. Feelings that have been resisted, pushed away, denied, banished do not actually disappear. They live on in the darkness of the unconscious, homeless and hungry for love, pulling the strings in our relationships, our bodies, our work in the world, getting in the way of our joy. Screaming for attention deep down in the underworld, they sap and drain our vitality and self-expression, cause us to become reactive, compulsive, and obsessive, depressed and anxious, and ultimately affect our physical health, all in their attempt to get us to listen. Until one day we remember all feelings are sacred and have a right to exist in us, even in the messiest and most inconvenient and painful ones. And we remember to turn towards our feelings instead of running away, to soften into them, to make room for them instead of numbing them out or ignoring them. These hungry ghosts, now fed with our love, our warm attention, our curiosity and presence, now given a home in us, can finally come to rest. They no longer need to pull the strings in our lives. They now have the empathy they have always longed for. How true is this? True is this. Some distance from ourselves in a way that keeps us in distress. And so let's practice this together now. I'm just going to check to make sure I've got the pause on, off, and I do. That beautiful writing by Jeff Foster. If anybody would like that, please just let me know. And we'll get ready to sit. And I will be starting that recording in case somebody would like this available to them. So sitting or lying with that genuine care, that tenderness, that loving kindness, that compassion. This is a type of essential rest that we begin to offer ourselves even before we strike the bell. We are not trying to be some other way. We're not trying to architecture up an image, an idea, some better self. We're trying really to soften into the truth of the present moment and our experience as it is in this body. And so we will begin just like this. And we begin as we always do by suturing the self into wholeness. First, just feeling into the body, awareness of this body breathing, letting the whole body breathe. And then noticing the draw of the upper body down and into the base of the body with each out breath. Let yourself be settled and soothed by your own arriving here, home. However the body might be right now. You may notice tensions or tightness, the weariness of the day, the held, the knotted, the tied up from the stress and burden of a day. This is all fine. Just breathing in, creating space and room for this present moment body. We drop into the out breath, breathing down beyond the belly. feeling the sense of the feet, the legs, and the hips. As we exhale with each out-breath, we soften the upper body and let it flow naturally as it will to join that stable base. There's no right way to breathe, so be watchful of the tendency to try to manage the breath. Let it go, let it be. Breathe it in and send it down into the base of the body, anchoring, securing, stabilizing the mind and body together. The mind will be scurrying about. It's in its habit for the day. This is no problem at all. We're not going to get carried away by any of those thoughts. We simply notice and smile and come home to the base of the body, to the breath, and to rest in the out breath, softening the whole body. Soften. We not only bring the mind home to the body, we actually let the body begin to expand itself with each exhale and out breath. We don't hold a tight grip on the body in body awareness. We let the body expand along with the mind with each out breath. Letting all tensions, all worries, all fears, all despair begin to melt away with each out breath. And then with the out breath, we're going to feel the sensations of breath as they soften and relax the body. We're going to find that space at the end of the out breath and simply open to the body at the end. In that space, we're going to open to include this whole body sitting here, just checking in, inhabiting, abiding the body. This by itself is a radical act of love and genuine care. We're not resisting, we're not struggling, we're not trying to be some other way at all. We're entering in while softening. This is the practice of letting be, allowing the experience in the body simply as it is. And rather than contracting, rather than resisting or struggling at all, we simply begin to open and offer care in our attention. And then I'd like you to notice a particular part of the body that may have a little extra tightness or tension. Remember, not necessarily the most difficult, the most challenging. And I'm just noticing a little tension in my upper back. I worked out today pretty hard, and I think I've used some new muscles. I'm just placing gently my caring and tender attention there. Finding that place in your own body. It may not be a sensation that's pleasant. It may not be the one you most like, but we're going to actually turn our attention there so that we can offer this softening to the rest of the body to create space and room for this experience. And so, if it's in the front of the body in any way, you might choose to take your most loving hands, your most caring attention with those hands and place them directly on that part of the body. Because I can't get to my back easily, I'm just going to place the hands here on the other side, the front side of that experience, that tightness. As we're softening the body, we're not trying to necessarily change the experience itself. We're creating a home base, that room, that warmth that Jeff Foster was talking about, the holding place for all of our experience, using our hands as supports, softening, opening, including, and offering that care with our own touch. Offering care and room by our own softened body. And you're going to respond to this particular sensation in the body like you would respond to a lost child or a lost pet. We are only happy to be in contact. We're inspired by the connection and we stay. Watching for the tendency to try to get rid of. This is not the practice. This practice is simply opening to include. Soften. Not only might you offer this physical touch, this genuine care in this way, you might offer a loving phrase. It's all right. I am here with you. See what comes for you, if anything. With each out breath, we create that space of softness. And then we're going to simply infuse that area with love. This is the soothing part of the practice. You can offer one of the loving kindness phrases. May you have ease. May you be well. May I be healed. Allow that offering, that nourishment, that healing to go with the breath into that area of the body, along with the hands or the touch if that's available. Soften and soothe. The practice here in allowing is just to continue to create space, just to continue to invite the arising of the actual experience. We're once again not trying to get rid of, not trying to change or make go away or improve in any way. The improvement is in our response, not in trying to change the experience. This is often a misunderstanding. Right? We don't change the crying child. That's not actually the interest. It is in fact to hold it, knowing that in time the soothing naturally happens. You might offer another physical gesture, a gentle stroke of the hand, a natural rocking. This is all very appropriate and quite loving. Just continue to be present and mindful of how that experience is changing breath by breath and moment by moment. Not because we're trying to, just because it is the nature of all experience. Tighter, colder, warm, more tense or less. We're simply abiding with kindness and love. Soften, soothe, and allow, creating space and room along with that caring attention. And then for some of you, it might be best just to find another area of the body that might begin to speak. This can often happen like that as we attend to one. The reality is the body speaks more. And then we notice, wow, not only was it there, I'm actually now feeling it in another part of the body. And going to that part of the body and repeating the process may be completely correct. And so feel free to do that if you're noticing. We're not fleeing this area of the body, but it may be sufficiently attended to in a way that it just invites attention and openness to another part of the body. Continuing as we had before to soften, release, relax, focus the attention on the out breath so we can create that softened arena in which to bring our mindful attention. And then we can begin to offer, right, given what's there, given that we're paying attention, whatever nourishment or medicine might be best. Just your presence itself and one's open heart is often the greatest good. Soften, soothe, offering that touch, that phrase. We can even send things like light and warmth. We can create space. We can picture ourselves in some way, in a way that is healing for us. Remembering that the body only speaks because it has something to tell us. It is always working in our behalf. Can we be appreciative, grateful, and kind in response? You can put your hands down at any time that it's feeling effortful or not productive for you. We're going to be switching from making contact with a body sensation to see if we can pick up the distressed thought that might have been feeding that tension, that tightness, that discomfort in the body. See if we can open to include particular thoughts. I don't like this. I don't want this. This is always what happens to me. I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy of healing. These are all possible thoughts. Just noticing. Just as before, we are softening now not only the body, but we're creating space and room in the mind, letting thoughts be thoughts, letting them come and go. See if we can pick up any particular thought. It'll have an extra charge or quality to it that might be feeding the distress in the body. Remember that the body is the mirror for the mind. I certainly could feel the thought, I'm not liking this. I hope it doesn't get worse. Um, Boy, maybe I did too much. And I'm just noticing that. I don't have to change the thought in any way. I'm just recognizing that as I think them, I can feel that tension around the sensation returning rather than resisting. And once again, just going to see if I can't soften. Softening not only the body now, but creating space in the mind, mindful space for the thought without gripping onto it, without buying in. Can I notice these particular thoughts as they often are as fears? And fear grips and tightens the body. Once again, we soften the body, create space in the mind, letting the thoughts simply come and go like clouds in a vast sky. The difference between a truth and a fear is that a truth settles us. even when it's something we don't like. We soften, we can soothe, which is this is okay. It is important to know what thoughts are feeding this distress. I'm capable. I can be courageous and recognize these thoughts simply as thoughts or fears. Soften, soothe, and then we simply let the thought be. We let it come and we let it go. Any thought that we do not grab and claim simply becomes a piece of dust in the wind. And we let it go. We may need to remind ourselves of some essential truths like, I cannot know the future, though I'm noticing that I'm fearing it. I cannot change the past except to accept what has happened and use that information for wisdom, what I can be and do and live right now. And then just create big space and room in the mind, that big sky-like quality of mind, letting thoughts blink on and off just like twinkling stars. Nothing to claim and nothing to struggle with. Soften, soothe, and allow. And then we can let the body be the body just as it is. Thoughts as thoughts coming and going. We can often then also make contact with a particular feeling, tone, emotion. Just checking in, seeing if we can access any emotions about these experiences. A thought and a body sensation often translates into an emotion, maybe sadness, grief, fear, confusion, anger, disappointment, despair, sorrow, and they're all fine. Can we create a heart space for these emotions also to be as they are? We may choose once again to place the hands in the heart space, creating space and room. This crucible, this most loving embrace for this emotion as it is. I'm noticing a kind of quality of judgment, of a slight criticism, a little bit of frustration as it relates to the experience in my back and those thoughts. And rather than be critical or become judgmental and feed that, I'm just saying, yeah, it's okay to feel a little worried. Um, this is an aging body, a vulnerable body, and none of that will make it better. Can I attend now, offer my loving presence now, not only to the body and not only to the thoughts, but to the emotions themselves? Can I create soft space open for that frustration? Can I breathe into it and let it be? This is that allowing, once again, part of the practice. We might even add recognizing frustration like this. We might offer frustration as a part of the human experience. Whatever you're feeling has been felt before by many or all. Can we breathe and open and include the emotion as well? Can we hold that experience like that most beloved child rather than rejecting, pushing away, or shoving down? Breathe into it, create space, let it be. Allowing. The way I think we best soothe a particular emotion is first to create space and room for it, then to include and allow it. I think that is the work. I'm watchful of the tendency to go, what do we need to do to be some other way with emotions? It's a big habit of ours. How to get rid of it is really what we're asking. And that's not very kind or loving. And so we simply open and soften a little bit more. Frustration or anger, sadness or grief. We let it in, we breathe it in, and create space and a home for this too. Softening, opening, soothing by naming and recognizing and allowing. And then we open to include the experience as a whole rather than in its parts, the body, the thoughts, and the emotions. Just creating a big, wide, vast, and open space, most loving space. Letting whatever comes come, letting it come and be and change and fade away. It may be a body sensation, a thought arising, or particular emotion. We don't grab or cling or brace against any. Imagining the mind and those most loving arms opening to include them all. Soften, soothe, and allow. And for the last few moments, we simply rest back in the boundless heart mind, that which is vast, limitless, ageless. We make room for everything. Our grief, our terror, our anger, our confusion, part of this human experience. Not to be rejected because it only grows. Not to be claimed as mine because it's simply a part of our human nature. We don't need the storyline. The direct experience is the greatest teacher. Body like this, thoughts like this, emotions like this, and a wide open, awakened heart mind space that holds it all. May we all be healthy. May we all be safe and free from harm. May we all live with ease. And may we remember the home base, the healing medicine of our own attentive and most loving heart mind. May we remember that we are worthy of offering this to ourselves. And may this practice contribute And let this very good day be done. So just take a moment and feel into the whole body. Giving yourself a little space and room there. Thank you all. Are there any questions about the practice? Remember, I've asked that if you would like a copy of this, um, just let me know. You can chat with me, or I'll give you both my phone and email, and let me know that this is something you would like, and I'll figure out how best to get it to you. I'm not sure, um, truthfully, how big the file is yet. Good. Yes. Sometimes tears are just the right thing for us as a release of what we have been contracting around, isn't it? And the very release through tears, through physical felt sensations. Sometimes the body even shakes, or we can feel that release in some way. That's exactly the right thing. And also, it's so good to know what we have been holding that is not necessarily our friend and not necessarily best for us. And rather than judge that, condemn, feel wrong or bad, or have the feeling be wrong or bad, we can actually, we're big enough, isn't it amazing, to create space and room for that too. And that's where I think the practice really serves us. It's quite important. Uh, it feels like a perfect way to end the evening. I'm so glad that you were all here so that I could practice that very beautiful practice, one of my favorites, with you. And just let me know if I can get that to you in any way that will be helpful. And tomorrow we'll be meeting at 7 for chapter 3 in Real Change. Hopefully, you've talked, if you're in that group. Of course, not all of you are. In fact, many of you aren't, because that's a difficult time of day. No problem. Uh, I hope you've contacted your buddy if you're in that. And if not, hopefully I'll get to see you on Saturday at 7:30, or you may be able to join Greg at 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. We're going to be offering that gentle movement with meditation sometime soon with Liz Young. We just haven't coordinated that just yet, but I'm looking forward to getting that started too. And hopefully you're all well. So I know many of you are already sleepy. And so don't feel like you have to come on when your cat's all curled up, your dog's all there just to say hello to me. But it's very nice to see you when that works out correctly. I do see Lisa there. Hello, and Kathy too. Wonderful to see you. But don't feel like that's what you have to do. Uh, Elizabeth, good to see you too. I hope you're all well. Cindy, I think you're even there. I saw your name, I think, at one point, and I know this time is not always right for you, so it's nice to see you also. If you want the Jeff Foster writing, let me know. If you want the audio uh, tape, let me know. Otherwise, have a beautiful rest of your evening. Please be in rest and well and taking good care of yourself. However, you're doing that, have a beautiful evening and good night's sleep. I'm going to. This feels like just the thing to help with that. And so, blessings to all of you with much love. Thank you. Thank you for being here with me. Everyone, be well. I'll see you sometime soon. Take good care.